Today I want to show you a really simple way to make an elegant and beautiful scarf for any season. These examples here are very winter since it is just a few days before Christmas when I'm making this tutorial. This is a very masculine version of the scarf with a gray base, and I've woven in with some black and a black and gray variegated yarn. This one is a very fun, playful, feminine version of the gray base, where I have used a red eyelash yarn, a white DK weight yarn, and a gold metallic yarn. And this example over here that I'm going to demonstrate with, I have three different silver, gray, sparkly, metallic yarns that are very different textures. You can also use ribbon, and just want to make sure you use a fabric ribbon, and then make sure that as you weave it through that you keep it flat and don't let it get twisted. You'll want to start your base using the foundation double crochet technique that I teach in a previous tutorial. I have the link in the notes below. An average scarf length is a minimum of 4 feet, but are often as long as 5 and 6 feet, depending on the person and the effect that you're going for. This example right here is about 4 feet long. So I started with a foundation double crochet about 4 foot long, and then I just made rows of double crochet. I used a light worsted weight gray acrylic wool blend yarn, and I used a large size hook for this because I wanted the scarf to be really soft. I wanted it to be open. I wanted my stitches to be really open and have a lot of room in them. That is the purpose of this one. Then I chose my yarns, and using 3 strands of the woven yarn at a time. In this case, if you're using a bulky yarn, you don't need to. There's no right or wrong to this, so just be creative and play with it. You can use scrap yarn. Every row you could weave in something different. Just have your pieces cut slightly longer than your scarf, so you have enough room to stretch and adjust and then tie off to secure the ends. I use a tool called a bodkin to make this work well. You can use a lot of different things. You can use a large safety pin, maybe a diaper pin, like the old school diaper pins that have the cute little plastic heads on them, and tie the yarn to the round spot at the end, and then use the plastic end to weave through. I like this bodkin. I've had it forever, and it's even starting to get a little bent from wear. But they're nice. They have teeth at the open end, and they work sort of like tweezers. And then they have this nice little ring that will slide down and holds it shut. And it has this rounded end that allows you to weave it through. Granted, this ring can get caught, so it's not the best option for everything. But over the years, I've managed to work with it. Because I'm using 3 kind of small yarns for this project, I have tied them together in a loose knot very close to the end. I'll take my bodkin and get the teeth nestled right under the knot and slide my holding ring down to keep it in place. And then I'll just weave it through in a basic over-under technique. And each row, and then I'm going to weave that down each row, over and under the bars of each double crochet. Each row I'm going to alternate. I'm going to stagger, so that way, just like in weaving, remember when we learned how to do the basket weave in elementary school for most of us, it's altered, it's staggered on everyone. If you chose to be a little bit more creative in your weaving pattern, you most certainly could do that. Maybe go over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2. And if you stagger your starts on that, you're going to get a kind of a diagonal pattern that would be very lovely. And if you have any interest in plaids, this is a really great and fun way to consider making plaid fabric as well. So I've brought my yarn woven all the way down to the end. You could see my tails down here at this end, and I'm just going to kind of make sure they're of a similar length, and I'm going to just pull this one I just wove just a little bit farther through. And in doing so, you'll see my fabric is scrunched up. So now what I'm going to do is, holding on to these ends, I'm going to work this down my fabric. And you can see how that pushes that all the way down the end. You can pre-cut your weaving pieces, or you can do like I'm doing in this particular case, and I just have all the balls of yarn over here in a bowl in kind of a tangle right at the moment, and I'm just working off of them. And then after I get this woven through and adjusted the way that I want it to be, I'll come down to this end and come out 4 or 5 inches or so, and then just cut it off, and then I will retie this end and begin weaving for the next row. So I'm going to do that, and then when I'm done, I'll come back and show you how I tie and secure the ends on this to make a little bit of fringe. Okay, now we have all of our weaving rows done, and again I just did that simple over and under each of the double crochets on a row. I'm going to give you a nice close-up look of that. Isn't that nice? Again, you could do over 2, under 2 if you wanted, or over 2 and under 1, whatever weaving style gives the effect that you're looking for. Now what we're going to do is get all of these tails secured, because we don't want them pulling out and becoming a mess. So I'm going to take, because I have 8 rows, I'm going to tie them together 2, 2, and 2 in a simple square knot. So we go right over left. This is how my dad taught me. Right over left, under and through, and then left over right, under and through, and pull that snug. And you'll see all of my tails are not the same, but we're going to straighten that up here. So we have, this is my right and my left, so we have right over left. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this one the opposite way, because this one's longer and this one does more wrapping. So we're going to go left over right, under and through, snug it, and then right over left, under and through. Because it's the same one, wrapping, doing all the wrapping. Just any overhand knot is going to be just fine. Oh, I take that back. This one is not, this one has 7 rows, not 8. So we're going to do, right, no matter, we can totally make this work. And like this. And then this one, I'm going to, what do I want to do here? I think I'm going to take part of it back to the other side of the stitch and just tie it on itself. This right here is a perfect example of why I generally like to have an even number of rows on these scarves. I probably ran out of yarn making this one and ended up with just 7 rows. Okay, now we'll do the same tying on this other side over here. And then I like to kind of scrunch the end of my scarf up and then comb out the tails and then trim them off. Hack them off, maybe do a little point in to soften them up just a little bit. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. And that's it. Easy, basic, elegant, and thoughtful gift.